Local computer fit for no me do say
Okay, so we are back again. So we stopped at the functions, right? And we said that we have functions, we have built-in functions that perform specific task. Okay, so let's see how functions, some of them they work and how useful they are. Okay, so let's assume that I have name, or name is okay. Let's assume I have name like Zillion, IT, Zillion IT solutions. There are plenty. I know I'm going to have a lot of problem with it. Okay, so basically we can just print, name. Of course, when you just print this name, when I run it, I'm going to have Zillion IT solutions, everything over there. All right, but we have functions that we can tell the program that, look, turn everything that we have into an uppercase. Okay, so I told you we have a lot of functions, so you can go online, look at functions in Python, so we can just, for you to use a function dependent on that particular function, we have ways and means that we write them. For instance, if you want to have an upper, if you want to turn all these things to an uppercase or a capital letters or all in caps, so I'll print a name dot. All right, the moment I bring out dot, it automatically, and that is one of the reasons why we use IDE. IDE helps a lot in programming. Aside telling you what sort of error that you are getting, it also gives you, it opens your eye to a lot of features that you might be missing. All right, so now I'm having print name dot. Don't forget that this is how we write some of the functions, not all of them. All right, so dot, we are saying upper, so we just bring it up. Now let's run our code and let's see what happens to our code. Now, if you cannot see, now it has changed everything that we have into an uppercase or a capital letters. It has changed all these things into capital letters. So we have so many things that we can, let's assume that all these things are in capital letters. Let's assume we are assuming all these things are in capital letters. So now when you run it, it's not going to do anything. But then what we can do is, now instead of upper, we are going to say that we don't want the uppercase again, but we want everything that we have to be in a lower. All right, so dot lower. We'll click on it, then you run. You get to find out that everything that we have over here has now been turned into a lowercase. So this is just an example of a function and how to use it. Okay, I said earlier, we have so many types of functions that we can use, and how to use it is very, very crucial. Another thing that we can also do is that, aside we can check for the uppercase, we can also check to see if whatever we have is uppercase or lowercase. So whenever we are checking something, what we mean is we are just comparing. We're just comparing to see if what you have is an uppercase or lowercase. So one of the things that we can also do here is that we have a function that allows us to do that. Okay, now we have so many functions that allow us to do that. So we can just use is. So there are many. Okay, you can say that is digit, whether whatever we have in our the content of our variable is a digit, is lower, is so first of all, we are going to check if what we have is in lowercase. All right. So we are saying that let's check if it is lower. Now, if it is not true, it is going to return false. So this is more like Boolean. Okay. So we are having false here. Now our program is telling us that the content of our variable is not in lowercase. Okay. Now let's see if it is in uppercase. Let's see what our software will tell us if upper. Okay. If we run it right now, we are going to have true. Okay, now, so we can compare and see, okay, just like a condition to see if the content of our variable is let's say is true or false. In programming languages, whenever you hear true or false, we are talking about Boolean, and we'll get to look at that as we are progressing. So, all right. Another thing we can also do is that we can combine both, okay? Can combine two or more functions together. For instance, we can turn, see, for instance, we can turn the whole of this, the whole of our variable into, let's say, upper, okay? Then from that, you bring dot again and we say, let's check to see if it is lower, okay? So already it is in upper. So first of all, let's convert it to something different. Let's convert it to lower. After converting it to lower, now let's check if it is indeed, it has turned into a lower case. All right. So let's check. Now we are having true here, although the content of our variable is in caps, but then this dot lower has modified whatever content we have over here into a lowercase. And now, of course, when we check it from here, this one is telling us that yes, what we have is really, really true. Now let's see if we now change this state into let's see if we now change this thing into a lowercase. Let's see what our program will be. Let's say Zillion for short. All right, so our program is going to still return true, of course. Why? Because name dot is this one represents what, lower. Now let's change this one to upper and let's see if our program will still tell us that whatever we have is true. Now we are getting false over here because the upper, this dot upper has changed the content of our variable into into an uppercase. All right, before you move on, do you have any question? So this is one of the ways that you can go about with functions. Do you have a question, please? Okay. Question, talk to me.
Please, I want to find out if you can use a function with a variable, as in maybe you've assigned a value to a variable and along the way, supposing name is Kwame, and along the way, we're going to change the name to maybe Kwesi or Yao. Is there any way that you can use the function also to do that?
Oh, it's possible. It's possible, okay? It's possible because the reason I'm saying it's possible is that because there is a function that you call replace, okay? So dot replace is going to take, so for instance, let's look at dot replace, for example, okay? For the sake of your question. So let's say something like this, dot, let's say replace. Now, dot replace will now take two arguments, okay? So what are we going to replace here? So first of all, we are going to replace the content of our variable with something different, okay? So first of all, dot replace was Zillion. We want to replace Zillion, comma, with what? Let's say coffee. Okay, I don't know if you understand. So what happens is that now the content of Zillion has changed. It has now changed from Zillion to Kofi. The content of our name, sorry, the name is now the variable. I don't know if you're understanding me, because print name, we are still working with a variable, the name over here. I don't know if you understanding me.
Yes, please. I do.
Yeah. So when it comes to functions, we have a lot of functions that you know, trust me, you have no idea that whether they exist or not. So what is important is you getting to know the functions, when to use it, how to use it. These are the three things that I want to say. Get to know them, how to use them, and when to use them. They are very, very important. Please, is anybody having a question?
Another one, please.
Okay.
Earlier on, I was studying before we got to the. I was studying before the section came on, and there was this variable, global variable.
Mhm.
Can you please explain a little bit?
What
I I,
variable?
I don't understand it really really well.
This thing quickly over here. Okay, so let me explain it from, let's say, C++ environment, so that you get the concept very well. Now, whenever you hear global, anything global in the field of IT, you are looking at something that affects any other thing in that environment, wherever you are. Okay, so basically, we have the private. Okay, you have the private variable. Private variable means that it works in a particular environment. Okay, so for instance, this thing that I've given over here, the name here, this one is a global name for this particular lines, the ones that we are doing over here. Now, the moment I move to a different environment, I can this name can just be changed over here. I don't know if you understand. So in programming languages, we have ways that we declare global variables, and we have ways that we declare, private, the ones that are private, the ones that we use in a particular season. For example, when we get to the float section, okay, sorry, the switch cases, you get to find out that every case is independently is having a variable. Okay, but then we have a global variable which you declare it before having the void, the other ones. When we get there, you understand what global variable means and the rest. But then put it at the back of your mind is that when you talk about global variable, it means it can be accessed everywhere that you are. But then we have the private variables that it works in a confined environment. I don't know if you understand.
Yes, please, I do.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so let's use a practical example. The practical example is that the universities that we are in, I don't know if you have, there are certain things that you can only do it in a particular level or particular year. So let's say the first year you are just entitled to ABCD, all right. By second year, also entitled to, let's say, KYW, whatever. But then you get to find out that as long as you are in the school, as long as you are in a school, your global variable is one. You have access to things like maybe the internet facilities, things which are, you can have access to them wherever you are. But then when it comes to the private ones, that is, let's say, having access to a particular lecturer, for all you know, maybe when you move to level 200 or the second year, you might not meet that particular lecturer again. I don't know if that is okay.
Yeah, 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 I do.
Mhm. Okay. Please, who is having a question again before we quickly move on? Okay. Now, since variables, you guys have to play along. So I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 variables that I want all of you to go and try your hands on wherever you are. So I'll just be pasting them in the group. Go and find how they work. Okay. Um, I'm just pasting them in the group right now. So you go and find how they work. It's very, very important. All right, Eunice, I'll return back to you. Don't worry. Okay. Now, let's quickly move on to numbers. Numbers are very, very important. Don't forget that we'll come back to data types. We'll be looking at integers, float, and the rest. I know some of you have heard of this. Some of you too, this is your first time of hearing it. Don't worry. Don't let it be like you are working in KZT market. No, it's something very simple. Okay, so now let's move on to numbers. Okay, so we have so many ways of displaying numbers in a Python environment. Don't forget that whatever we are doing here, I know sometimes it's boring. We are using the console aspect. Now, this training is giving you an overview. One, on what you should expect in your programming class, and two, what you should expect in Python as a whole. Don't forget that I said that Python can be used in so many ways, but then this one is just broadening your knowledge about the extent to which Python can go. Don't forget that we are using the console, that's the black section over there. Now, some of you think that Python is only having a console part. No, Python, just like VB, Virtual Basic, is also having a graphical user interface, GUI, graphical user interface, where you can just click and drag and the rest. Just like C++, C++ is also having a console section and also having a graphical user interface. But for now, we want to be familiar with the codes proper. That is why we are using the console. That's for now. I don't know if you understand me. All right, so let's see how we can work with numbers. Okay, so basically we can just do a lot of stuff with numbers. Okay, we can just write, we can just say that, oh, print, let's say 10. Okay, you can just say something like this, and of course it's going to print out our number 10. We can, instead of printing 10, we can just assign that number to it, anything. Let's say wafa to be a variable, and we can just say 100, and now we come back and we say print wafa. Okay, now print wafa is going to return 100. We don't, you see, you don't need to bring those quotation marks. You can decide to bring it, you know, if as you have this thing here, 100 is still going to run. Okay, it doesn't change anything. Doesn't change anything. But then I'll explain to you when to bring this and when not to bring that along the line. Okay, so that's one of the ways that we can work with numbers in Python, which is very, very easy. Another thing is that it's not only about positive numbers alone. You can work with negative numbers, even decimals, 100 points, give out a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, it's going to return those outputs for you. But then where I want our attention to be shifted to, of course, you can work with the negative numbers and the rest. Where I want our attention to be shifted to is the mathematical operations that we have. I don't know if some of you still remember board mass. I don't know if you guys still remember board mass. Okay, so yeah, it still work. I don't know, I don't know who brought that thing, but man, wherever you go in the field of programming and IT, Charlie, that thing still works like magic. So we are talking about bracket of something something. So in calculations, let's say print, let's do something really quick. Print 4 plus 5. Okay, let's say let's print this. So we are getting 9, right? Now let's say let's multiply it by 100. Okay, so let's see what we are going to get over here. We are getting 504, right? So now we are getting 504. So 4 plus 5 is going to give you a 9. 9 multiplied by 100. Oh well, when you calculations in with you, whether it is true or not. But that's what I'm getting over here.
It's multiplied 5 times 100 first.
Before, that is
then it added a 4.
That is it. So that is where the thing comes in. Board mass and that thing. That's where it comes in. But you see, multiplication is having that power over addition. I don't know if you still remember those things. So in order for you, let's say, in order for 4 plus 4 to happen before the multiplication, what you need to do is you can put the whole of this also in a bracket. Okay, you can put the whole of this also in a bracket. Now, this is what is going to happen. Let's see. Now, I don't know if you have noticed that now the answer have changed. I need a response here.
Yes.
Yes.
Now the answer has
Yes.
changed, and this is very, very crucial, especially when you want to write a simple calculator. This is very, very important. Or when you are comparing numbers, this is also very, very important. Or when you are comparing answers, it's very, very important. Just as Zillion, I told you that is 4 plus no, and the other guy came in and said no, it's multiplying. That is the concept I want you to have. I don't know if you get it. So you just like board mass, you need to. This thing works like magic. I don't know. As I told you earlier on, I don't know who brought this board mass that up to now. We are still using it. I remember our mathematics teacher used to beat us, for this thing, and you grow up and you can't still, let go. You can also use modulos. I don't know if you still remember. Remember, I don't know, when we were in primary school, they will tell you that, okay, so for instance, you say that 3, I think modulo 10 or 10 modulo, one of them, you just try it. Should be 10
Yeah.
modulo.
Yes, EMAT and both.
Okay, so you still have it right. Okay, now it should be the other way around. Okay, this is crazy. You just grew up and still be having some of these things in your life. Oh, wild parents and the honor. So, oh yeah. I think I have to delete this one. That's why it's giving me an error. You understand? So that's it. So what this one does is, now look at what is happening. So the moment I change this one, I bring it here. So right, I should be getting my 1. What happens is we are just dividing 10 by 3, and the remainder is some of these things, basic things that you
Yes.
used to do in JHS. The way the teachers, they beat some of us.
It'd be normal.
So so okay, back to our numbers. Another thing that we can also do is that, we can also, just like the other variables, we can also store numbers, as a variable, and just do whatever you want to do with it. Just as can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so we can just num, and we just say, let's say 100. So print num, just like what we have been doing for years. Just like what you have been doing. So this is it. We can just store numbers, But there is something that I want all of us to pay attention here. Let's see. I just want us to see some, just take a note of something. So let's see, we are having something like this. Okay. Let's combine the numbers with the strings, and let's see what will happen to our code. This is one of the things that I need you to pay attention to. When to do the conversion, when to leave it is very, very important. When to do the conversion and when to leave it is very, very important. So I'm just saying that the number over here is my favorite number. This is my favorite. Okay. So let me bring my space and let me run it over here and let's see. Now I'm getting an error over here. So now, and I told you one of the things that makes IDEs powerful is that the sometimes majority of them try to show you what that particular error is. And along the line, I will show you how to read errors. And this is one of the ways. Unsupported operand type or types for class, int, and string. Okay, it means that when you are trying to combine integers, when you're trying to combine numbers with strings, okay, what happens is you need to convert the numbers, and there is a function for that, okay. There's a function that whenever you want to combine the two of them in one particular line, you should use. That is str function. Str function. Str will convert all your numbers to, something else. So let's see, str. So str, we have it now, numbers, num. Okay. So now let's run our program and see what happens to our program. So now we are having 100. This is, oh man, this is my favorite. So we are having something like this. So now if you want to use numbers, as if you have stored it in your variables and you want to use it together with your strings, this is how you don't forget the str. This one will be, you see, all these things that I'm showing you now, right now, it will not make sense to you, but then when we are applying them in real world, let's say write a program that we can use to solve, let's say, calculate for area of a circle and this kind of thing. That's where some of these things is going to be applicable. Yeah. Now you can ask your question, please.
Yeah, I wanted to also add, using it inversely too, would you need to apply the same method?
Come again.
Using it inversely, like the string before the number, would you have to still follow the procedure?
The strings before the number. Yeah, you see, the underlying principle is that as long as the two of them are going to meet in the same line, you should use the str. That's very, very important.
Okay.
All right, so just like the strings, we have so many functions, okay. You can, I just want you to explore some of them. You can use the power function, the maximum functions, and the rest, okay. But today, I don't, that one you can just explore on your own. But where I want us to get to for today is that we need to look at the input. So all the programs that we have been writing, we are just displaying. So that the question is, what happens if you want the user to input something, enter a number or any other thing? So we are going to write a simple program that will ask the user to enter the name of the girlfriend and display the name. I hope that will be cool. Okay, so I need you to follow me over here. All right. So for you to for the user to input something in your program in Python, we just need the input statement. All right. So the input statement, the input, then just like the way we wrote our functions, the input what? Then you bring out, oh, input kojo, input coffee, input ama. All right. So we can say that input, let's say, and of course the input we can make it as a variable so that we can use it in our program. So input what, uh, enter the name of your girlfriend. Right. All right. Okay. So something like this is going to ask the user that, look, over, this is what you need from you. Kindly enter the name of your girlfriend for us. Okay. So let's see how this thing works. Okay. So first of all, let's give it a variable. So let's say we are saying that gf, all right, gf is equal to input this, that. All right. So after we getting the input, what do you do with it? Print. Okay. Print, let's say GF. You can just make it print GF. So now, I don't know if you can see from the down, you now enter the name of your girlfriend. So I just want to enter. So which one should I use? Any other name, okay? So I'm just using Sandra. Now, when I just press enter, now you are seeing Sandra over here. Sandra is my sister, name of my sister. So you are seeing Sandra at the down there, okay?
Oh,
So
okay.
this is just some simple, but then we can just modernize it, okay? Okay, so we can just say that, look, after we getting the input, we can say that the name of your, okay, your girlfriend. So we are saying a plus GF, okay, okay, name of your girlfriend is, space, so GF, okay. Now let's see, let's run our program and see. So now enter the name of your girlfriend. I'm just typing any other thing. Let's see, Abina. Abina. The name of your girlfriend is Abina. I don't know if you are getting the excitement now. Are you following?
Yeah.
So now, so first of all, for the input, when we want the user to enter something, we just need the input, okay? So one, we need the input itself, INPUT, the input. Now within the input, the bracket, you can ask the user question, okay? You can ask the user any question that you like. And after that, since you have learned about variables, you just assign a variable to the input. After that, you display the variable over there. You can do a lot of stuff. We can also tell, say that age. Say, can assign age to be input. Okay. Oh, my. Input. So what her age? Okay. So I'll say that plus. Sorry. And her age is age. Okay. So now I'm having this thing over here. So let's say I'm gonna enter what's her age. I'll say 65. Okay. So I'm having the name of your girlfriend as Abina, and her age is 65. The reason why you're having all these two combined is I didn't bring space over here. All right. So let's run it again. Age 65. All right. So now we have our perfect program. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you have question before I give you an assignment. If you have question up to this point, we have less than 3 minutes to go. Do you have any question? Or you want me to go over any other thing?
I'm okay for now.
The rest of you, I don't know if you were following.
I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Like, let's say when you said that GF is equal to like input that's enter the name of your girlfriend, and then that of the ages input what's her age. So asking the question, then you act like maybe print a GF and then that of plus you bring the space so then plus age. Wouldn't it display the content in the because you said that the GF is equal to that whole statement and then the age is equal to that whole statement. So when we are asking the person when you are running, when you bring just the print, wouldn't it display you bring the print and then the age and that of the GF, wouldn't it display the information there?
Okay, so that is an excellent question. Okay, but then don't forget that this time around we are not just printing a variable alone, we are printing an input. We have input. So what happens is that enter the name of your girlfriend, okay, the moment you enter the moment you whatever you enter, that is what is going to be stored in that particular variable. So now the GF is not holding the name of your girlfriend, no, but the GF is holding whatever you input in that particular section. I don't know if you understand from there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So the moment I remove the input from there, it will no longer hold. Okay, so
Okay.
the whole idea now centers on the input.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
All right. So I want all of you to just relax for now. Ben is saying I should go over the input. Unfortunately, our time is up. But Ben, don't worry. Yeah, talk to me. So kindly show it to me fast before the 10.